Hello, dear viewers, and thanks everybody who has joined to our regular Insart webinars. Just as always, want to remind you that we have them every single Friday and talk about different topics of fintech domain, of project management, of IT area at all, and in common. If you are interested and you would like to get more videos like that, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the ring bell button below just not to miss any other updates and any other notifications about the videos upcoming to our channel. Today we have a pretty special and interesting guest, and the topic of our webinar today is about the project management at all in fintech area and fintech domains. So our guest today is Alex Sirashtan. He is the project manager of Insart company, and he will share a little bit today about how is it being a project manager, what is it involves, what are the main benefits and aspects, why your project needs a project manager, and is there a way to survive without being systematized at all. So Alex, thanks a lot for joining. Welcome. Any introductory words you'd like to tell maybe?
Yes, thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. I'm one of the subscribers who are always trying to set the like to your videos. I know that there are not a lot of subscribers for that time, but I'm really trying to help you to increase that number. So yeah, thank you for the invitation. And I think we could start our streaming and for such an interesting theme today. Yeah, and I will try to do my best to share my experience to our viewers.
Thank you for your willingness to help us. We really appreciate it as well. So, first of all, tell a little bit about yourself. What do you do in Insart? How long do you work here? What are your obligations, etc., etc.? What is your main scope of tasks?
Yeah, first of all, maybe let me introduce myself a little bit in a whole, my project management career. I'm an experienced IT project manager with a wide range of experience. I've been working in commercial IT project for such 5 years for current time. Under my management, there are maybe 20 projects for that time that I've brought to life. Almost I was working with a long time project with as a time material model of monetization as with a fixed price model of monetization. Moreover, as any self-respecting project manager, I had an experience of launching my own startup called Projectium. It was a community marketplace for startup founders, where every startup founders could solve all the problems that he met during the way from storms to the starts with his startup life. For the Insart career, I have been working in Insart for current time for 6 months, for half a year. I'm working on the role of project manager in quite an interesting project. It's not just a quite interesting project, it's also an ambition company named Responsive AI. It's a company that's serving all the needs of wealth management for advisor agencies, wealth management, and also for big enterprises. They're making a pool of products that are going to cover more or less the full cycle of tech wealth management functionality. As for the technology, it's quite a modern project where we use beloved Node.js with an SJS on the backend and Vue.js on the front. As for the PM part, I'm not a PM of such a big team, but I'm a PM of such a strong and experienced team with a serious seniority level. There are 2 backend engineers, 1 front-end engineer, and 1 QA. For current time, we became not just a project team for a client. For now, we almost became such a dedicated team. We are serving all the needs for a client side. So yeah, we are integrating in a product a lot.
Okay, thanks for an awesome introduction. And tell us a little bit more. Who is the project manager himself? So, what is this person? Who is it, and what should it do?
Yeah, as for my personal opinion, it's quite a wide broad term. everyone can translate it by his own thoughts, and as many people as many minds. But for me, project manager is one strong concept. PM, it's a person who are trying to serve all the needs to make happy and balanced all three sides of project. It's a client, company, and the team, the dev team. It's like he's like a SWOT that could urgently react on every question 25 hours, 8 days in a week to make the commitment result meet described deadline, quality, and budget, if a project has budget. PM, it's like a mother of project, a mother for the dev team. It's a business consultant for a client, and also it's maybe a devoted soldier for a company that is always trying to be in a good shape to solve every question that he could meet in everyday life of a project.
Just an awesome example. Thanks a lot for that. And during my career, I'm always hearing the thought that sometimes by our clients, sometimes by our colleagues, that project managers are not really needed, and that their main purpose is just to move different tickets in Jira, and that's all they do, and there is no need in project manager at all. What do you think about such a stereotype that the high seniority team does not really need a project manager at all? What can you say about it?
Yeah, I've always met that opinion in my career, but it's a popular opinion. But I think for me it's wrong. Not as a project manager, but as a person who could see on a project from a side. Yeah, it could take place in case that PM it's one person from a dev team who couldn't show his results, couldn't show the demo, for example, couldn't show something the client could take, could see, could interact with. So PM it's a person who always trying to be involved in project with his mind, with his time, with his commitment that was committed on the start of a project. So PM, it's first of all, it's a person who trying to get quality deadlines in a perfect way and make client happy. So to make the results for all the team be meted. But for continuing that history, PM, it's not a person who can show them his results, but if there are any gaps appear in a project, it's always a PM fault. And for all the opinions that PM is not needed in such a senior team, it's wrong, because PM it's a person who could translate all the needs of a client from a business side, translate in a tech side, and to meet all the solutions that could be provided by technical seniors, by developers, can provide it more in a business way to meet all the business goals, not product goals, because it's a very popular mistake in dev teams that they always trying to make the product work better in best technologies with comprehensive solutions that could solve all in all. It's very popular in the teams in a project where a client is a non-technical project in non-technical person, and the technical team always trying to provide all they want for all the modern, the latest technologies, the comprehensive technologies. But as for practice, it's not always needed, because they have such a not a big deal, not a big goal. So they just want, for example, SaaS product for their CRM system, and they don't want, for example, such big infrastructure, such a big architecture of project. So first of all, PM are trying to make the project meet the market needs and meet the business goals that client has. So it's a first point that dev team couldn't meet and couldn't see from business side on a project. Also, PM is needed for closing all the needs that not connected with development activity. So a good project, it's a project where developers closing only their developers activities, only their developer responsibilities. So, and other activities from connecting with client, connecting with company, solving their needs, it's PM responsibility. And if dev team will be closing all that stuff, they will have less time to do their development job, and it will be more. There will be more. It will be a most expensive project because the hours of work of senior developer is more expensive than the hour work of PM. In such a that case, PM is needed in every team. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, that's the answer from the client perspective and from the project manager perspective as well. But talking about why the project itself needs a project manager. So, how do you think? What is your opinion? What main key benefits the existence of project manager brings to the project itself? What it provides? What possibilities maybe arise? Maybe some new opportunities? Not from the point of view of like people management or risk management, but the project and its scope as well, or maybe the business value.
Yeah. As for me and my understanding of the PM role, every project should start from the PM first of all, and project needs a PM because someone on the project should solve all the non-development questions, as I told previously, and make dev team thinking only about the dev work, because there are a lot of communication with clients, a lot of work with documentation. And as I previously said, every project needs to meet all the commitments, deadline, quality, and budget. So in a case the project needs someone who will be responsive for all the non-development stuff. Also, someone needs to manage to prevent, to mitigate the risks that could be connected with all the three project side, with the client, team, and company. All the working with risks also need to be covered by PM responsibilities. And also the negotiation between the vendor, stakeholder, and a team. PM is always serving that order. It's very important. Also, from a project side, from business side, it's also important to see the opportunities to extend the client order, because most of the projects that I've met between my career, that the project that client became in relations with vendor in one project, in one order for such small scope of work, because, for example, they tell in when they're ordering the communication between the dev team, they are ordering just developing, for example, a mobile app for the application, but continues the work, continues the negotiation. PM could see some new opportunities to extend the client's needs. For example, to refactor his legacy app, for example, to propose maybe product management work on their product, and so on. So it's only the person, a PM, or for example, delivery manager could see it. It's a person who directly communicates with the client on a business side, on a business from a business perspective. So it could do the tech person. It couldn't do the developer, where the projects, the development team just manages the project. So it's also a commitment of a PM. So a PM is also responsibility to see some new opportunities to extend or to offer for a client to make the client more happy and to make the client give more revenue of his project, because it's main goals of a business perspective to make more money or to make more capitalization of their business.
Awesome. And coming back to the perspective of people management and working with different people, etc. When I start working with a new project or when I'm being onboarded into the new team, I usually love asking them, like, okay, what's your understanding of the perfect project manager? Like, who's that person for you? And throughout the years, I was getting absolutely different answers. The one pretty remarkable one was when the developer said to me that for me, ideal project manager is the one whom I will never see, I'll never hear about, but he does his job. And I remember that a lot. But to be honest, it's pretty hard to be invisible, especially if you work with a small team of like 3 or 5 or 10 developers. But anyway, in your opinion, who's the perfect project manager? What's the profile of such a manager? How should it look like? What should he do? Uh, just describe this project manager, management perfectionist.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting question. I have been met it for all my long career, but as for me, as for my personal opinion, it's PM. It's a real leader that has an authority and respect in a team, in addition to a friendship relation inside the project. It's as for ideal project manager. So it's a person who has a strong communication skills, who could solve every situation project could meet in everyday life or in a perspective of planning, and find an answer for every question that could appear during the software development or during the negotiation with client or with a company. It's an addition to my description of who project manager is. So first of all, as I said, it's a leader, and it's a person who is also fights with a team on a battlefield, not only sits in a high office with a white collar, So it's a person who is always trying to be involved in a dev process, in a process of meeting business goals with a client, with the process of meeting the company goals inside the company. So it's a person who is always on the battlefield. It's a person who is always knows the answers on all questions and always ready to solve every question that could appear on a project. Yeah, you're on mute.
Whoops, sorry. Anyway, thank you for the answer. That's a really detailed and great answer. And I hope that maybe somebody who's currently watching us and is expecting or thinking about how to become a project manager, how to be the one, etc., might get something interested for themselves to take into account. The next question I have is, again, we have already discussed that the project manager is the person who does the life of the client and of the business easier, simpler, faster. But from your perspective, can you tell a little bit about the most significant cases when the work of the project manager saved the money for the team or for the company or for the project itself? Like, what were the most significant cases in your specific career?
Yeah, it's a case that every PM could meet every day. So it's a everyday routine of project manager saving the money of client or of a company. So it's a pretty, I will provide a pretty popular example that I've met in my career and every PMs meet in their careers. So it's an example when PM saves the money in a case just meeting the deadlines and no overspending the project budget. In a case working directly with the dev team, I saw one statistic research when I'm trying to improve myself, when I'm trying to learn some new. I saw the statistic research of where companies, where clients working directly with the dev teams without a PM. And there is a wonderful statistic where at least 40% of the projects meet deadlines. And in that case, the only 30 persons are not overspending the budget in case working directly with developers. So, for example, PM saves the money when he is meeting the deadlines that he is responsible for a planning process and he is responsible for setting the deadline. So it's a wonderful case of saving the money. Also, it's very important to meet the business goals and translate all the tasks to developers from a business need. PM in a communication process with a stakeholder should clarify what is the main business goal for a development team and make it come true. So when the PM translates all the business goals to developers, as I told you previously, it could save money because the solution could be less comprehensive, less expensive, because it will be on that solution will be spent less time in the future because it could meet the business goal with the less comprehensive solution of development team. So in that case, it should also save the money of a client. It could be not such a complicated technical solution, but it could close all the needs that client has. Moreover, all that connected to with the documentation is also saves the customer money when I think PM is also responsible for the documentation, even if the project has the business analyst. PM is also responsible for creating all the documentation, for updating, for managing it. So it's not just the business analyst responsibility. So in a case when PM is responsible for documentation, it could save the money when the documentation is created in a clear way. So all working with the team, with the client negotiation, with the recruitment, all that stuff, is also saving the money of a client and of company because PM working on that stuff and he committed all the results that could be met in that case. I think all that stuff, that negotiation, recruitment, managing the team, risk management, and so on, should lay on a PM shoulders, and PM should be responsible for the risks that project would meet. For the team perspective, client scope, requirements, risks. For the most IT outstaffing companies, the dev team is the main revenue generator. So the company need to serve all the needs of the devs and control the performance, etc. In my opinion, it's a PM commitment. So PM, it's a person who saves a lot of money of a company and of a client, making them happy, just preventing the risk and meeting all the commits. Deadlines and quality. So when all is working fine, the money always saving and everyone is happy. And if something went wrong, it's a PM responsibility to solve that question in most convenient way and in less time that could be solved by everyone else.
Sounds pretty convenient and money effective. But let's come from the other side of this process. And we have just discussed about the ways of how the money can be saved, how the project manager saves the money of the developer, etc. Not just the developer, but also about the team, the company, the vendor, whatever. But do you know, maybe, can you share some cases in your career when something went completely wrong, like absolutely in an unexpected way, like the biggest failures you had, the most crazy things you had in your career, when like everything goes exactly not as expected?
Yeah, it was my past experience in my previous company. It was a product company, a big team. There were at least 35 person in one team that I was managing. So I was managing it with another PM. It was a product company that was on the market, was in production, and the main goal of whole production team was to support the product and to serve the customer needs. So there were a big teams of a sales, of a customer success, and 90% of the scope was customer tickets, customer support, bug fixing, hot fixes, etc. So we had two sprints. We had two releases by one sprint. One sprint iteration was 2 weeks. So we had one release by 1 week. It was one intermediate release, and one release was main release in the end of the sprint. And the biggest gap was not meeting the deadlines because it was a big product with a big QA team. There were at least 10 QAs, quality assurance engineers in the team. So even a lead QA couldn't check all the platform by himself because the platform was very big. There was a lot of integrations with ERPs. The platform was translated in 5 languages. So the gap was connected with not meeting the deadlines and not meeting the release deadlines and desires of our client in Spain. It was a Spain translation. I gave all the translations to our dev team in the middle of a sprint, so it was ready by the end of all the sprint. So devs pushes all the changes with all the Spain translations for Spain version of a platform in Wednesday. So QA team just started testing it in Thursday and was tested till Friday. And in Friday evening, they told me that they found a lot of bugs. There were, if I'm not mistaken, at least 70 bugs connected with translations. So, and it was a Friday evening where all the dev team are going to spend it with their family and going to home until the time will be spent. So, it was my commitment and was my gap that I've not meted that deadline and not meted that release deadline. So it was the release was planned for Sunday, and it was Friday and Saturday and Sunday. It's weekends for our dev team. So in that case, we mobilized, and in the evening of Friday, we closed all the bugs. It was overtime. It was overspent. All the devs were sitting and working. It was my gap, yeah. But for the next times, I was planning more. My planning process was more comprehensive. I've involved in the planning process all the QA team because previously my QA planning part was connected with only taking the percent of all the scope time for the sprint. To the QA, it was at least 10% of the scope original estimation was for the dev team of QA. But it was my gap that I didn't talk with QA lead to understand how much time that will take to make the regressive testing of all the platform, because the regressive test should be covered by all platform, not just the part, because it was a full translation of all platforms. So it took a lot more time. And I didn't meet the deadlines. Yeah, it was my biggest gap in a career, but it was a biggest lesson for me. So for the next times, I make a lot of changes in my planning process, and my planning process became more comprehensive and more longer. But there won't be new challenges in planning, and it became more successful. And for now, my utilization rate is at least 95% of sprint. So it's a good KPI, and I'm trying to do my best not to, and I'm trying to do my best to increase it in the future.
To be honest, you're saying about this, and it looks like you're the saint one. This just NIMB is not enough, and or you had, because in my career, the worst case that I've had was the product release postponed for something like 4 months, and it was like the continuated process. So I'm a little scared about working with such people. Oh my gosh! But anyway, that's good for you. That's awesome to have such a specialist in our company, and thanks a lot for your honesty with that. Okay, one last thing that we have for this interview is the blitz. I've promised when we've been preparing for this interview that I will not tell you about what's gonna be there, what's gonna be the questions. Anyway, we're gonna have something like 7 or 10 different questions, and your goal is to respond to them as fast as possible, like literally the first thing that comes to your mind. So, you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The first question: what's better, being a client-oriented or business-oriented?
A business oriented.
Okay. Second, what's better, a complex production functionality delivered in a long period of time, or a small production functionality but delivered on time?
Small production on time because it's more important to meet the deadlines,
Okay.
and it's more agility to
Okay.
make the smallest product but on time.
Okay. Next question. What's better, working in a small startup or a big enterprise?
Small startup.
Okay. Next. Have you ever lost clients' data on the projects?
No.
Okay. Next one. What's better, having or working with a fancy product or working in a complex and a serious project like the banking system, etc.?
I think a product.
Okay.
First one.
Next, a little bit provocative one. Have you ever did something wrong on the project that you never told client about?
Yeah.
All of us have such a scene. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true.
One last question. What's better, remote work but in different time zones with your team, or work in the office but at the same time zone with your team?
First one.
Okay, awesome. Okay, this was it for today. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for your answers and your involvement. That was a really great overview of the whole project management profession, what such people do. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for being here. And maybe some last minute words you would like to tell to those who are taking a look at this video, who are watching us, to our subscribers, wherever.
Yeah, first of all, I'm really grateful and really appreciated that you invited me to that our webinar. It was such an interesting experience for me. And as for such an advice for our viewers, for maybe a person who for now are looking for a project management perspective, project management work maybe, and trying to teach something in project management, I would like to advise start practicing project management, because project manager work, it's more about practice, about communication, about negotiation than about the theory, and about some book studies. So it's just a practice, it's just a playing on a battlefield, and it's just an experience. So a good project manager, it's an experienced project manager. It's not a person who have a lot of certificates and a lot of theory learns and studies. So yeah, just start practice, and all the theory will become in your mind by your working process.
Awesome, thank you. And for those who are watching us, I just want to remind you that if you like this video, please click the like button. If you don't like it, write some comments or click the dislike, that's totally fine as well. Don't forget that we are posting such videos on a regular basis, and also that Insart provides the fintech solution development teams for your company, for your startup, your unicorn. And in case you have an idea or you want our team to help you with the development, feel free to schedule a call with us. There's a QR code somewhere here. You can just scan, join, and schedule a call with one of our experts that we're going to be able to help you out and probably start a collaboration. Thanks a lot for your time, Alex. Thanks a lot for joining, and we'll see you pretty soon. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.